A lot. What's up, old Powerhouse crew? Check out this frame behind me. It's a YJ. Look how clean this is. Now we'll talk to him here in just a moment, but look at these look at these fuel lines and stuff. He said that's a factory fuel lines. He cleaned up that well. This frame is ridiculously clean. Doing a frame off restoration. What year did you say this was?
It's a 93.
93? And right over there we have the tub. Edits. So 93 YJ, tell me what you got going on here.
Well, like I said, pretty much started out with a simple frame swap. We wound up finding a donor frame, and that led to what you see here. The frame was blasted down. We replaced the rear cross member, got rid of the factory cross member, replaced it with a heavy 5/16 thick cross member in the rear, and then we coated the frame in and chassis saver, and then sealed everything over with implement enamel with hard look or wet look hardener in it.
Right. So you see that you've got, I mentioned a moment ago that all your fuel lines, brake lines, those are the factory parts, and they cleaned up that good?
The fuel lines are. The brake lines themselves are a OE fix brake line from Dorman. They're actually stainless steel lines.
Right, yeah.
And as you can see, they've got the factory wrap, just like any of the reinforcements on them. They've got the wire wrap on them from the factory. But those were replacement. But the fuel lines themselves are all factory. They cleaned up amazingly well.
You've got the Brady line going down to your diff.
Yeah, I added extended stainless steel lines front and rear on it.
Yeah, well, I did the 8.8 swap on my 91. There is an option whenever you buy the regular brake lines and stuff, you can get the extended option for those.
Yeah, we went ahead and went with the extended lines while we were doing nothing. Basically replumbed the entire frame.
So 4.0 rig?
Yes, 4.0, 5-speed. Everything under it is factory. It's the factory Dana rear and front differentials. The only thing that's been done to either differential, I did do a CAD delete on the front differential while I had everything tore down, and we went ahead and added a set of TJ axles with new drive shaft or U joints up front when we replaced the axle shafts.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you, what the XJ route, the TJ route.
With the TJ route on.
Okay, good. Gears?
It's got the factory 307s under it.
307s?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clean as it is, makes a great daily driver, which is what it's what you said
That's
it
what
was.
it is. Yeah, it's my daily in it. And like I said, it went from going to do a simple frame swap to basically doing a one-off restoration, I guess you could call it.
So you gotta get you another toy to play?
Yep. I have to find another toy if Mom will let me. I'll have to get another toy if Mom will let me have another one to offset where I can keep this one clean. So.
Because I have, of all the Jeeps I've been through and looked at, stuff like that, this is ridiculously clean.
I appreciate that.
My 91, I sometimes think I want to take it, not just to a completely street-driven rig, the light trails and stuff like that, as we talked about earlier, but clean it up enough, make a great street driver out of it. Of course, I got rust bucket for my beater.
Well, this is my one and only. This is my daily driver, and we're down to Mom's grocery getter, or I've got a XJ borrowed right now just to get around back and forth.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a work in progress, and I've done what you see as we've talked before. I've done what you've seen here in just a little over a month.
Yeah.
So making pretty decent progress.
Oh, that looks awesome. I mean, it's like you could literally just about eat off this frame. It's so clean.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Let's go check out the tub. So we got the body work started on the tub, and honestly, it is, again, very good shape. We were looking at a few minutes ago, there's fuel nicks and crannies here and there that has a little rust spot here and there. Nothing bad about it whatsoever.
No, the only major caveat to it is I could get away with patching the floor pans up front, but I'm going to go ahead and do a full replacement on those and all the body mounts. Like I said, the body mounts. Typical YJ, all the body mounts broke loose on me when I parted the tub from the frame. So that's what we're down to now, is cutting out body mounts. I've got 5 of the 6 forward mounts out.
Yeah, right here. And they're not bad shape. Yeah, I can tell you, because oftentimes when it comes to patching these stuff in, you can buy the floor pans. It comes out easier replacing sections than it is to replacing little tiny bits and pieces.
Right.
But overall, I mean, it's really good shape. You can see where folks, if you want to get to your body mounts to spray some PP Blaster, get in right there. right there, and right underneath here.
You've got two more in the back right here. If you'll look right here, right by your seat latches, you've got one on each side here. And then if you'll go to the back of the tub, if you can see right here, and those right there,
You can see right here as well.
that's, you can see it broke loose on me. So that's the reason we're cutting into the tub now, redoing those.
So it looks like positioning wise, of course, you can see the bolt hanging there, but it's about the midpoint between here and the tangent right here where the joins in.
Almost dead between them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the tub, as you said, you can come around the front. You can see the cab supports are in really good shape on the front. And you get around here, I mean, the tub overall is in extremely good shape.
She's in good shape.
Scattered about 4 points to the compass right now. We'll come back together, I'm sure.
Part of it. The thing is, you got an awesome place to work here.
That's my good friends have loaned me the shop space, so I'm blessed to have that with me here as far as a place to work on it. It'd be kind of hard to do all this under the shade tree.
Amen to that. It's like I'm building rust bucket right in the middle of my driveway. I am so blessed. I got awesome neighbors to put up with me.
Well, that's the good thing about out here. I'm stuck out here by myself out here in the dark, so I don't have to worry about too many people out here. So.
Right.
But it's a good foundation for a good daily driver once I get it done. That's what I'm looking forward to. So.
Yeah. 'Cause that's exactly where I'm thinking about taking my 91 to. Because, I mean, I've wheeled it before, and it's had its share of punishment. But at the same time, you know, now that I've got rust bucket,
Right.
I think my 91 a good driver. And we was talking earlier about replacing that skin on the passenger side on it.
Right. Well, that's where I'm fortunate. The skins and everything's in good shape. I've got just a little bit of rust in this B pillar right here. Outside of that, the rest of the tub's in extremely good shape for what it is. For a 28-year-old rig with a little over 200,000 on it, I'm well pleased.
Yeah. So you just doing, you basically hand sanding everything, and what kind of finish was you planning on going with it?
Going with the Raptor liner finish on the exterior. I'm going to go with the tenable Raptor liner. I've got it, and we're going to go with a Toyota Quicksand color when we do
cool.
it. We've already got the tint mixed up for it. So.
All right. Those right there, you actually just use the pigment out of the paint.
Yes. Instead of buying the pigment online, it's actually, I went to my local auto body place. I took them the paint code, and they mixed it up for me for pennies on the dollar for what you can buy it online for. So.
Tip.
I think takes 3 ounces of pigment per bottle or per liter of Raptor liner.
Right.
It's about 22 or 23 bucks ish per bottle online for 3 ounces. And if you do that for an 8-liter kit, which is what I've got, that gets pretty deep in your pocket.
Oh yeah.
I got a quart of tint mixed up for a few pennies under 60 bucks. So.
Not bad. See, I'm still on the fence where my 91. I still lean toward the fact of doing like a Raptor liner. Or actually, I thought looking at Monster liner, but part of me wants to go with that Mopar green.
Right.
That Mopar. Something about that.
That would be cool.
And I thought about, that was it Go Mango. I've got a sickness for old school Mopars. I really do. The Go Mango orange, or taking back his factory red.
Well, just talking about the orange, oddly enough, if I hadn't have went with the Toyota Quicksand beige,
that's a cool color though.
Well, I like the flat dark earth, the military style stuff, and that's kind of what I'm going with on this, all trimmed in black. But I looked awful hard at Kubota orange.
Oh, sick, yeah. Well, honestly, what people don't realize, the red YJs,
right?
They're the same paint, pretty much the same paint coat as was it? It's either Massey Ferguson or
Farmall, one of the two. It's very close.
It's one of the tractor colors. Hey, I'll tag it in, pop it up here somewhere. I got the paint at the house, and I can't remember what color it is right off, but you can pick it up at Tractor Supply. It's almost a dead match for the red YJs. But,
well, so Tractor Supply is where the frame paint come from. When I coated over the chassis saver, I used the implement enamel from Tractor Supply.
That's good stuff.
Yes, it is.
People, don't realize going to like those farm places like that, but oftentimes their paints are freaking ridiculously strong. It's really good stuff.
Well, especially I did one step better than that. I added the wet look hardener to it, and that makes the stuff just ironclad.
It does, absolutely. Get a fellow I used to work with, he's painted several tractors and stuff like that, and that's where most of his paints come from. And he put that wet look hardener to it, and they look so good. And just like you could bang that thing and get stuff, and it just barely even flinched.
That's what the entire undercarriage, it was coated over with the wet look hardener enamel. And then which I don't know if you saw the pictures of that, I've done all the hinges, the door handles, and everything that way as well.
Yeah, it's a YJ Warriors that you're on most of the time?
No, YJ Fanatics.
Fanatics, that's right.
Michael Todd Stoneman's group, YJ Fanatics. I'm on there quite a bit.
Yes.
So.
Snowman.
Yep, Snowman.
Yeah, Snowman.
I think he's on the social media hiatus. I think he's in jail now. I think Facebook jail, I believe.
Hey, y'all just got a shout out. Go check out the Facebook groups we're part of. And actually, you guys, a lot of you realize that I'm pretty active in a lot of them too. And most YouTubers aren't very active inside the groups. So yeah, go check out YJ Fanatics. There you go, Todd. You got yourself a shout out.
And that's how we actually wound up.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's where we met through. And it's kind of that small world. We're not that far apart. And
yeah, come to find out, he and I was chatting one day, and I used to work with some of his family at a boat company I used to work at. And a little bit chatting back and forth, started realizing a lot of the connections he and I had. And I'm about 2 hours from him, and I'm actually up here to pick up a transfer case, Dana 300. Dude, salute for the deal you found. Look, I ain't gonna go into details about how much I paid for this thing, but thank you.
we did all right on that.
Yeah, real good. And so that kind of gives you guys a clue. It's for Rust Bucket, and there'll be a doubler setup coming up soon, but I want to get my front axle done. I've got the raw metal to do the C-guss and stuff like that on my front axle, get all that built. Once I get that front axle hanging under it, my buddy Wayne, which is hiding back here out of the camera at the moment, I got to find another 8.8 because I put my 8.8 out of Rust Bucket in my 91, so we're looking for a 14 ratio 8.8 to go under Rust Bucket. And once I get that done, I'm starting on my doubler setup, low geared.
So that should work out all right because that will come out of a Wagoneer with a 304 in it. So I think it'll stand up.
It'll stand up to the abuse.
Stand up to the lick you're going to put it through. So
yeah, I saw some Facebook groups the other night trying to look to see where to get the doubler kit. I found that's one thing you guys can help me out with. Down in the comments, I found a few places I can get the doubler kit from a 231J to a Dana 300. But if you guys know any good places to get that doubler kit, the plate, the chromo shaft. And all that stuff that goes along with that. If you guys know the clocking ring, I'm going to need that too. If you guys know a good place to get that, drop it down in the comments, help us all out. And that, not only will you be helping me, but anyone else who's doing doubler kits will know about that. So another thing we need to bring up about this too, as we were sitting there talking, he mentioned the fact that he's never torn a Jeep down this far. I know a lot of people in the channel are apprehensive about going this deep into a project, and I understand it. There's a lot to entail here. But I mean, don't be afraid of it. So, I mean, you was apprehensive when you first tore it down.
Well, yeah, it was like any other project. I've never torn a Jeep down this front. I mean, my background, when I was in the military, worked on a lot of electrical stuff. I worked on a lot of different stuff on attack helicopters. Right. And I looked at it at the same point. But even with someone with just limited mechanical experience, just take it a section at a time. And I mean, that's like, this right here is something that a lot of people it would scare them to death to look at. It's a wiring harness. Right. It can only go in one way and it can only come out one way. It's just one of those, take your time.
One thing a lot of people don't realize, and this little hint here for you, when you go put the harness back in, you'll put your fuse block where it belonged originally. Oftentimes, you take it, once you get everything bolted into place, you take your wire and pretty much turn it loose and drop it, because for people, it's called muscle memory. For wiring, once that wiring's been bent in that configuration for such a long time, oftentimes that plug will fall close to where it goes.
Right.
And one thing about connectors in vehicles is that one connector is only going to fit one sensor.
Exactly.
And so with that being said, I mean, I know it sounds simplistic to say it this way, but sometimes just tear into it and just take it slow and easy, break it down in sections. I mean, this right here is running back toward the tub, and just take it in sections. And little by little, the more times you do it, the more confidence you'll gain. And that confidence, you'll just keep learning and learning. And it's just like a big snowball. The education, the knowledge that you gain from this, not to mention the feeling of, I did this.
Right.
So it's a huge boost of confidence. Now, you don't have to jump directly into a wiring harness or anything like that. I mean, simply changing out a rear differential. You got your U-bolts, your brake lines, and stuff like that. Or even changing your front brake pads. I realize running the channel, there's so many people out there who never crank their own wrenches. And that's the reason I structure my videos the way I do. They are long format content, but I try to leave all those details in there so people can learn every nut and bolt, every spacer, whatever it takes. And so you can take on projects like this.
And it's a pretty big undertaking if you look at it, because I've got a frame sitting here, I've got a tub, and I've got parts scattered everywhere, but it's a section at a time, and that's the way you've got to look at it.
And that takes a lot of the feeling of being overwhelmed out of it. If you just take little bits and pieces. If you try to look at a one mass use project, okay, the confusion sets in at that point.
Right.
Little small sections at a time, you'll get, it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. One piece at a time, you'll get the project done.
Exactly.
So, anything else you'd like to add to this?
I just, don't be afraid to tackle this stuff. Like
Exactly.
I said, I started tearing this Jeep down, what was it, a little over a month ago when I started posting pictures on Facebook. And, you know, I think it was like, what, 2 days when I posted that I had the new frame rolled under the tub before I started on and it's ready to go back in. So
Right.
now we're just down to the body work and getting it done, so.
The fun stuff.
Yep. The back half, as I call it, which is the worst half,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Yeah, years ago, I don't know, I guess that's probably about 16, 17 years ago, there's a guy that lived down the street from me. He owned a body shop.
Right.
And I worked with him doing some body work even at that age. My dad is, not blowing my horn because he's my dad, just the fact that it's proven, well, okay, maybe I'm a little partial. He's my dad, but he's probably one of the best I've seen him doing fiberglass work, you know, smoothing out body. And that body work for fiberglass actually spills over into metal. Yes, metal, you got to, you know, pull a dent, this and that, but the whole thing with making that panel smooth, you know, it's pretty much the same scenario.
Right. Just one of them, you just have to be willing to get into it, get your hands dirty.
That's it. You got to be willing to get into it and take your time. Don't try to rush. Make sure you got the time to do it, and just section at a time.
Exactly.
So everyone, if you, oh yeah, one more thing. How long do you think you're gonna be before you get this ready to put on the frame?
A lot of it depends. Like I said, this is, of course, with my, I won't go into what I do for a living.
Oh, I understand.
I'm a civil servant, and I'm doing this on my days off, working on my days off, and I'm hoping, I've got a blasting set up here to get the interior of the tub done, as well as the underneath. The floor pans are on order, they're on their way in, but just as soon as I get that done, then we will, we're going to seal the tub up in epoxy primer, and then
Gotcha.
we'll go into after that. But
Who knows?
it's a work in progress. So
So I mean, it's kind of like, I never thought that, you know, whenever I first got Rust Bucket, I never thought that, you know, I'll have this done within, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 months. This been years.
I'll be happy to be done by spring, fall, but you know, who knows?
I get you. So what we were talking about earlier is that once he gets ready to drop the tub, stuff like that on, I live within a couple hours from here. Maybe I can roll back up here. We can get together, set up all the cameras and the lights, and we're going to have ourselves a Jeep party, slap this baby back together, sit in the tub on.
It'd be great. We welcome you here. Like I said, we'll feed you good when you get here. So
He said food. I'm down. So everyone, if you enjoyed this little bit of content here, and I appreciate him hanging in with us, and actually the transfer case as well, but, you know, get up here shooting video, people who, besides me, you know, building these toys and stuff like that, it's just fun. So I appreciate it.
hey, thanks for having us here on the channel with you.
Absolutely. Everyone, if you enjoyed this, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, leave some cool comments down below. Peace. Later, y'all.